can I compare thee when no one ever could come close? Look around, but I can't see. That is usually just how it goes.
This base was brought to you by FENTY Bronzers. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ohemaa. Okay, you guys, so I have gotten like a bunch of requests to talk about the wig that I have on. So I'm going to tell you guys about the wig. So this wig is actually from Main Regalia. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Pro Kisser. Hint on my lips because my lips look crazy. So this wig is actually from Main Regalia and they are a brand on Instagram. They also have a website, mainregalia.com. I specifically requested it be colored into like a brown wig, and whenever it arrived it wasn't brown enough, so I went ahead and I lifted it and then I tinted it to get it this brown. Okay, you can also definitely go ahead and ask them to make you a wig that's this brown because she knows how to color wigs and she actually knows how to get this color. She just didn't know that I wanted it to be this light essentially. Okay, you know, she made sure that the lace matched my skin tone. I don't know how, but she did. She knew everything. So if you want to, check out Main Regalia on Instagram and on her website. And if you use the code Ohemaa, you get 30% off your order. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, you guys, so today we're gonna actually be taking a look at the new Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out collection. So you know Fenty Beauty has launched 10 cream blushes and 7 cream bronzers. Okay, so we were lucky enough to have Fenty Beauty send us the box. So we have all 7 of the cream blushes here for us to take a look at. I'm gonna swatch them and I'm going to pick my 2 favorite ones and or the 2 that I'm curious about the most, and I'm actually going to use that on my face. And then we're also going to be swatching the bronzers. We have the last 3 shades. We're going to be swatching the last 3 shades, and of course I'm going to be using the deepest one, or yeah, the deepest one. So if you want to see the swatches of the cream blushes, and also you want to see the swatches of the cream bronzers, and if you want to see me use it, then keep on watching. Okay, so let me go ahead and just tell you let me tell you about these products. Okay, so both the blush and the bronzer come in the classic Fenty Beauty packaging, black and white. The bronzer though has that gold plate on it and it's very reflective. So this is what the cream blush packaging looks like, classic black and white, and has cream written on it. Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush. And I'm gonna go through and, you know, tell you guys what these shades are all about. Okay, so it says that the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush is fresh wash of color, effortless blending, light as air, sweat resistance, and 10 sheer shades for all. It doesn't say anything about it being like a little bit reflective. I'm actually showing and swatching them for you guys from number 1 to number 10 because they do have numbers on the back, so that's the order in which they're going in. And so let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, so we're gonna start with number 1. Number 1 is Fuego Flush, and Fuego Flush looks like it's a reflective blush. It's this orange blush. It is very, very beautiful, and from the way that it's swatching, I feel like this is the kind that I would use as a very subtle highlighter on my face. Like, of course it would, you know, take over majority of my cheek, but I could definitely see myself using this as a subtle highlight. I'll actually be using that today. Yes, I have dropped it already. That's okay. Number 2, we have Petal Poppin'. Petal Poppin'. Okay, so number 2, we have Petal Poppin'. Petal Pop. It blends in a little bit lighter than I would use on my... It actually blends in like it doesn't... Like it won't show. The next one, we have number 3, Bikini Martini. Next one we have number 4 is Crush on Cupid. Next shade we have Strawberry Drip, and Strawberry Drip was the one I was gonna pick up because the shade that I wanted was actually sold out. So this is what Strawberry Drip looks like. Beautiful shade. Actually, it's very, very pretty. So next we have number 6. Number 6 is Daiquiri Dip. Daiquiri Dip. I know daiquiri is a drink. Anyway, so we have Daiquiri Dip, and Daiquiri Dip was the shade that I initially wanted to get from Sephora.com, but it's sold out on Sephora.com. So maybe try Fenty.com if you don't find it on Sephora.com. But this is the shade that I originally wanted to get by looking at the pictures. I feel like it's gonna give me like a nice red shade that's gonna show up and look intense and, you know, not come out a little bit ashy or a little bit too pastel on my skin. So I felt like this is the shade that I really wanted to pick up, and it was sold out, but luckily Fenty sent this out to me. So Daiquiri Dip is going to be one of the shades that I try on my face today. Okay, so next we have the shade Drama Class. Drama Class is a beautiful shade. Like, I'm only trying Drama Class because of the shade. Like, I've never thought to try a purple blush. Okay, so Drama Class is going to be one of the ones I try on like another part of my face today because I just want to see what it's all about. Okay, so next we have the shade Summertime Wine, and Summertime Wine is a beautiful shade. So next we have Cool Berry. I feel like it would look really, really good as a lip color or as a lip shade. Like, when I see this, that's what it reminds me of, like a beautiful lip shade. Last we have Rosé Latte, and Rosé Latte or Rose Latte. Is it rosé? It looks like rosé. Rosé Latte. Rosé Latte is a very beautiful shade. So next we have the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzers. These are also new, and it says a fresh bronzed glow, easy to blend, light as air, sweat resistant, 7 shades. Okay, so out of the 7 shades, they sent us the last 3 shades. This is what the packaging looks like, and it is the reflective gold packaging with cream on it. I really like this packaging. It catches the light like a lot. First we have the shade Teddy, and Teddy is, I feel like Teddy is like a concealer shade almost. Like, the whole time I'm looking at these and I'm thinking I can use these as complexion products, you know. I don't know why, but that's what I see. Like, I see this and I see like cream foundation or cream complexion product. So that's just what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing what I think I want to do with them. But I feel like there will be very good cream complexion products. So I might even end up using these for complexion. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Now next we have the shade Chocolate. And Chocolate matches the back of my hand almost to the T. Like, it's almost like you can't see it. So if anything, I will probably use Chocolate as my foundation. Chocolate is very pretty. It's a very pretty shade. Let's see. Look how easily Chocolate blends into my skin. Right? You know, it has enough coverage. It has enough coverage where I can actually use Chocolate as a foundation shade. You guys know that I don't have like an exact match in my foundation shade when it comes to Fenty. So I have to make 480 work. But with the shade Chocolate though, Chocolate has like the perfect undertone as a foundation. Look at this. Look, I have the hydrating foundations here that I was going to use as foundation, but at this point I think I'm actually going to be using the cream bronzers as complexion product, okay, because it matches really, really, really well into my skin. Fenty, if you could make Chocolate as a foundation shade, that would match a lot of people that watch my channel. Like, perfect undertone. What? Okay, and then next we have number 7, which is Toffee Tease. Okay, and Toffee Tease is very deep, almost like it just like was this close to being purple. Because whenever I was swatching it, you know, whenever I was like melting it into my hand, I thought, oh my god, please don't let this be purple. Please don't let this be purple. It's like almost there, but it's not really quite purple. I'm gonna put it on my face, and of course I'm gonna see how it behaves or works or blends or whatever. So that's it. Let's go ahead and use these. I picked up 3 of these that I'm gonna use. It says that the Fresh Bronzed Glow, easy to blend, light as air, sweat resistant, 7 shades for all. So this is not a sheer finished bronzer because it does show up and you can intensify it as much as you want. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Fenty True Matte Primer. So that's what I'm gonna put on my face today, and I'm just gonna apply the primer everywhere, and I'm using the mattifying face products because I am gonna be using like a cream base, right? So that's why I'm like going ham on the mattifying stuff. That's just the only reason why. I was trying to shave today and I cut my lip. So if you see a mark on my lip, it's because I cut it. I really hope that this comes out looking as good as I hope it's gonna come out looking. So pray for me, okay? And let's go ahead and jump in. The bronzer shade in the shade Chocolate. So I'm using a foundation brush and I'm taking the cream bronzer, and this is the shade Chocolate, and I'm applying that to my face as my foundation shade. I'm gonna blend it in with a blending sponge, so I'm just like laying it down and blending it in as well as I can with a brush. But I'm definitely gonna blend it in properly with a sponge. I mean, you can't even tell that it's on my face. So I feel like using this as a foundation, it can definitely become a full coverage foundation because it just covered the dark spots that I have on this side of my face and you can't barely see it. Let's see if I can cover up the dark acne marks I get on this side of my face that shows through it. So I thought this finish would be too creamy, but it's really not. It's not creamy. I feel like it goes on creamy and it dries like a powder. That's how I'm feeling right now. Ooh. I'm just making sure I blend over it and everything is blended and covering very nicely so you don't see like little splotches of product. So I definitely use the bronzer as my foundation shade because it matches my skin tone a lot better than any Fenty foundation ever. Okay, so this matches beautifully. Look at it. The Fenty Kisser lip product. So from what I saw, I can also use the shade Teddy as my concealer. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm taking the other side of the brush that I used to apply the foundation shade, and I am going to dot Teddy under my eye. I'm not gonna use a lot because I don't want it to overtake my look. Ooh, it's bright. Okay, I think I will just leave it at that because if I use too much of it, it will definitely overtake my eye look. And then I will put some of the Fenty concealer over it. This base was brought to you by Fenty Bronzers. I'm taking the Fenty concealer, and this is the shade 480. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of it right here. It's definitely deeper than, oh, it's crooked. Oh God, my nose line is crooked. Okay, so I'm taking the shade Toffee Tease, and I am essentially going to use it as a contour, because a bronzer is something that you add to your contour to make it stand out. So instead of using a contour today, I'll just use the bronzer, and this is what that looks like on. I am curving it up per what is it, Scott Barnes method. That way it looks like you're smiling even before, you know, you actually smile to blend anything out. And I'm just tapping it in, and then I'm gonna go over it with the blending sponge. I literally just use the same sponge for all of this. Yeah, it definitely goes on, like, it goes on very beautifully, and because I'm tapping it in, I'm not afraid that it's gonna erase any of my base work that I've already done. I'm not afraid about that at all. And I mean, since I'm already using it as a kind of like a first step to contouring, I'm just gonna blend it across my forehead as well. You know, just all the parts that I'm definitely gonna go over with a powder type contour. I feel like you can definitely intensify the look if you wanted it to be like a lot more intense than it already is. You could definitely intensify this as much as you want. You know, if you want it to be a little bit more intense than it is right now. Okay, now I'm just using the sponge directly on here. I'm just gonna apply some right here on my, essentially contouring my jaw and my jaw area, well, just to deepen it a little bit. I mean, you don't have to use a sponge. You could definitely, I mean, you don't have to use a brush. You could definitely use a sponge to give you like a more spread out application, you know. And it's still picking up, so that's good, because there are some cream products that, you know, you have to warm it up with your hand before you can use any tool to pick it up, but this one just seems to be able to be picked up with the sponge, so that's a good thing. A lot of people say they usually stay away from cream blushes because they're afraid that it's gonna take away the makeup they have underneath. So let's try this out and see how it comes out. I'm really hoping it doesn't take off the makeup I have underneath, because that would just be tragic. Okay, I am using the Fenty brush, and this is the 125 face brush. This is the brush that was launched with Cheeks Out. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what we can get. Okay, first I'm taking the shade Daiquiri Dip, and Daiquiri Dip was that first deep shade that I wanted to pick up but was sold out. I am going to tap into it like that. Okay, so this is what that brush looks like, and I'm just gonna apply it to my cheek. I definitely feel like if I apply it with my hand, I would get, the melt would be better on the brush. I mean, the melt would be better on my skin, but of course, because my skin is warm, when the brush touches my skin, it definitely warms up the product and it makes it easier to blend out. But of course, I'm not dragging the brush across my face. I'm also just doing like a tapping, stippling motion, you know. So don't drag it across your face, because I don't know how that's gonna work. But this blush is showing out, and I'm loving what it's looking like. I definitely feel like I can intensify this if I wanted to. I don't want it to be too intense, but it's a very pretty shade. I'm definitely intensifying this way more than I need to, because I don't need it to be this intense. You don't need it to be this intense, but I cannot help it, so I'm just doing it. And the next shade that I've been curious about seeing what it looks like and how it's gonna behave, I'm gonna grab a brush. Oh, I have a brush right here. So the next shade I've been curious about seeing how it's gonna behave on my skin is Drama Class, and that's that purple shade. I just can't not use this shade today, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing some of it on a Sephora collection brush, and you definitely have to do the flicking motion of the brush and not the dragging motion of the brush. Oh, I can see that it looks, I want to say it looks a little bit ashy on. Let me know what you guys think. It's always good to try. It's always good to try new things. I don't know what I was expecting, so I can't really say what I was expecting. I just didn't think it would look, I feel like it looks a little bit ashy. Let me know, because I can't really see the side of my face very well, but I can definitely tell that it's a different shade compared to the, you know, the usual reddish pinkish shade that, you know, cream that blushes come in. And I'm still applying more. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I'm not gonna add any more. So as I'm taking the product, I could definitely see that my base is mixing in with the blush. You can definitely tell, because even by looking at the product itself, you can see that my base is transferring onto the brush, which is in turn transferring onto the product itself. I'm using the same sponge that I use to apply it. Okay guys, so this is the finished look using the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer as my foundation. Okay, that's what I used. I used the shade Chocolate as my foundation, and then of course I used Toffee Teas as my bronzer, and I used two different cream blushes as my blush, but of course I went over this side with some of the first one. I used the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows number 6 and number 4 as my eyeshadow look. I also used the Fenty Beauty Vivid liquid eyeliner, and this is the shade Lime Fever. I use that as the neon accents on my eye. Lashes are from Bonsu Beauty, the Ohemaa trio, the dramatic trio. I really love this specific style of lashes. Like, it is so pretty. The Mo Honey or Afternoon Snack duo as my highlighter. Now let me tell you what I think about the cream bronzers. The cream bronzers, I definitely feel like they go on cream and either turn into like a powder. It doesn't stay cream. It's like cream to powder, I think, type thing, because it picks up very nicely, but once you blend it in, it's like blended in and it doesn't stay creamy. It doesn't transfer back into the shade. Then again, the shade was really, really dark. I was blending it into my skin. It did not build on as cream and stay creamy. It definitely mattified down, at least it mattified down way more than I thought it would. So I really do think it's a cream to blush type situation that it's got going on. But the blushes though, the blushes are cream, and I feel like they remain cream a little bit longer than the cream bronzers do. So whenever you're gonna use it, don't swipe it, just go ahead and tap it, and just be careful how much, you know, back and forth. God, it is 1 a.m. I am tired, okay? Just be careful how much back and forth you're doing from the product to your face, because I did find that some of the product on my face transferred onto the product in the pan. But besides that, that's the only, I guess, hiccup I had with it. The way these cream blushes are set up, you're gonna have to blend it on your face to see how it's gonna look, because I thought drama class was going to be more intense than what it actually looked like on my skin, but unfortunately it didn't look more intense than what I thought it was gonna look like, but that's okay, because the two shades that I used are definitely the shades I would have picked up. I'll definitely use other cream blushes in other videos so we can see how they behave and whether or not those are shades that we will pick up. And if anything at all, I can do like a compiled video of me using the several different shades so we can see how they look on. But I couldn't use any more than 2 in this video, so please forgive me. I couldn't figure out a way to use more than 2 in the video, okay? So just please bear with me, please forgive me. I really hope you enjoyed the swatches. And I also really hope that you appreciated me using the bronzer as a base. One tip that I didn't do, that I forgot that I should be telling you, is that if you use the cream bronzer as your foundation base, after you apply it, definitely go ahead and set it with a translucent powder or a colorless powder before you go ahead and apply your concealer, okay? Oh my god, I need to go to bed. Okay, but that's it for me using and trying out and swatching the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out bronzers and blushes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.